On this episode, brought to you by MaxEverMuscle.com, we say, get shit done. And where does it lead you? Gangsterness, right?
Yeah, facts. I mean, just
thanks for weighing in, Danny Trey. Go ahead, Daniel.
Good talk. I didn't even get, I'll go fuck myself.
All right, Trey, pick it up.
Yeah, so, I mean, this episode, we just go over our process of like how we all just get shit done to be successful at life and set us up for the best situations possible.
Love it.
Yeah,
Cool.
This is just a compound effect. There's a lot of value can be taken away from this, and honestly, man, we're just trying to make an impact on people.
Yeah, it's cool. I think hearing the stories of like how we interact, how we talk about what we do, how we got there, I just think it's good because people can put themselves in their situation and hear, learn from these stories. So, all right, let's roll to the show. We are live. Roundtable Podcast. I'm your boy, Corey G. At Small Arms Danny. At Trey Speed. And the graphic gangster himself with 3 chains.
Yep,
Cole
3 chains, gang.
Susak.
3 chains, gang.
What's up, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
Nothing. I just followed Small Arms Danny on Twitter.
Oh,
yep, it's official. It's official.
Shout out.
And
Retweet.
Danny, what did we just officially launch today?
It is something we like to call the Arms Army. Can be found on Instagram.
You're really coming into your own, Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you,
This is a big year for the Small Arms brand. Big year.
if you're lacking in the arm department, let's say this is the place to go.
I mean, our entire relationship started by you coming to do arms at Old School Gym.
Just like you saw the cut on your delt, I saw the bicep vein at Old School.
Let's fucking go.
And it has never been the same.
It's never been the same. This is true.
Today is the get shit done topic. And I'm going to tell you why we brought this up. Well, one, because that's how you fucking get anywhere in life. And when I was talking to Aaron yesterday, he was like, I just like it. You guys just like go get shit done. Because at the end of the day, you're not overthinking it. And we just came off of doing the first chapter of the new book.
Shout
out, How to Build Confidence and Win at Life, where I had to read myself back, which was slightly difficult to sound not illiterate.
Yep.
And then on top of it, I had a little struggle bus for it. And then on top of it, then we podcast for 32 minutes about the chapter. Kyle's going to chop it up. We'll see how good it sounds. But I was feeling good about one of 2 things. Well, multiple things. Cole mentioned that like when you throw it back, it's like you're back in that emotion, which is really tricky because I was like the first chapter is a lot of why I'm who I am. Mm-hmm. And then like you guys picking parts of it to expand on the podcast part, that was like super cool. Like I'm mentally a little bit spent from it though. I'm not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. Like it taxed me. Trey was kind of crying with me. Like, I mean, it was like there's a lot going on.
It was definitely emotional, but I think like, dude, there's going to be a ton of value in it. Like
yes.
It's like whenever we finish this and it's done, I think like whenever people listen to this and they know what we're experiencing, kind of how difficult it is or how we're trying to figure it out, but listening to those podcasts, it's money.
But actually, this is a great point of the get shit done. Like just saying, okay, today before the podcast, which we're doing now, we're going to do a chapter of the audiobook. Look, most of the time when it comes to media, I can just like show up and do it. I was struggling on the first paragraph of how to read myself back. I talk different than I write, or has been edited. Like, it's definitely tricky. But I still, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be okay with what we did.
We got shit done.
Yeah, we got shit done. So do you guys like, when you're coming up upon like certain things that you're kind of taking on, did you used to overthink stuff? I'm coming to you first, Danny. Did you used to overthink stuff, but now maybe don't as much because you've been in a pattern like this, like environment, or has that not really been a problem for you?
Well, you hit the chord as the environment.
Yeah.
Like,
I know you adapted to it because I've seen you grow.
Yeah. Well, like even if, I don't know, like back, like the first thing I think about is when I was like 100% remote, working. Mm-hmm. If I didn't have clear, if this was for work, this place, what like my kitchen table or whatever, and then the couch is for hanging out or like watching a TV show. If I try to like mix the two, if I'm trying to do something, if I'm trying to do something on the couch, usually it's not going to happen. Or I reserve that for a mindless task that I have to do. But if I have to go write something, like
you have to be at the kitchen table.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to take 5 to 10 times longer.
Interesting.
And it's probably not going to be as good.
That's just knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to get shit done if you're at the kitchen table. You're not if you're going to be on the couch.
Yeah. Is it's James Clear again. You know,
Yeah.
You're a product of your environment. Like he was talking about on a recent podcast about having like his gym corner in the basement. Like that's where he works out. Like he has his office. Like that's where he gets his work done, and that's where it is.
I would say that I definitely struggle with that a little bit outside when I'm trying to train somewhere other than here.
Yeah.
Because the environment's so fucking filthy gangster that I fucking go to like, you know, a hotel. Like I can get a good workout in with dumbbell shred and all that stuff, of course. I'm still going to get a pump, still going to lunge. But unless I get the environment, I'm so addicted to the environment. That's why I'm such a dick about protecting it, especially now. I got to get better at that, but that's tough.
And it's interesting with the people you surround yourself with because you find yourself avoiding certain to-dos on your list. And then, like, if you keep going back to it, you're like, fuck, I put that down, like, 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't even done it yet. It's like you're just, like, procrastinating.
Yeah, when I see those things continued on my list, I try to give them to Tyler. I'm like, Tyler, I got this tax thing. Yeah, can you help me with that?
He usually goes for the jugular.
Oh,
That's a good move.
Yeah, it's amazing. But Trey, how about you? I mean, you're a doer. Obviously, you're a young dude. You got a lot going on. But it's like, have you ever kind of like operated that way, or was it always like, let's just kind of figure it out on the fly? Or is that something that after working with me for a while, because I've always kind of been that way, you're just like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't mind it at all, but definitely excelled like when I got thrown in to working with you, like just how like everything needed to be turned around and shit just needed to like, you know, just be done in a sense. So like that's how I feel about like, for example, like the gym content in the morning. Like I know the gym content as soon as the workout is over, then it just needs to be done in, you know, I mean, in a timely manner, so then Danny can get it up on the website and everything. And so I mean that's just like it just comes back to like you just can't procrastinate and like, you know, I mean, those kind of things like that.
One of the things he said a long time ago too, before you jump in, is you're fine. He said like there'd be things that weren't even due that day, but Trey would still chop them up because he doesn't like to have it on the docket.
No.
So I always like that.
Yeah, and it's just like that just goes back to the not procrastinating. It's just you just know like certain things need to get done. So I guess it's like why not just get them done, because the reality is we're all human beings. There's probably other things that you want to do in life too as well. So the quicker that you get the things that you need, that you know that you need to get done, then you're going to be able to go do the other
shit
things
you want to do.
Yeah.
Matching that up though is hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I always like to think like, what is that? Where does that cross over, right? Because most people, I would say, probably do the opposite. They just get to it when it's like, and then they're pissed they have to do it. Yeah. And then they're probably not going to do maybe as good of a job.
Yeah.
So I think that when you transition that exact situation, I think that's when a lot of things change.
Well, sorry, real quick before I forget it, but like the deadline part, and the first thing I mean, Cole's probably going to say it too, but like we keep touching on it, but the fucking website, when we transitioned to Shopify for Max Effort, I mean, whether it was a self-imposed deadline or an actual like real deadline that you gave us or whatever, like we got that done in like 2 weeks.
You guys,
and it was like a massive undertaking, but like I don't know, I think
is that a big confidence builder for you guys?
Oh my god, yeah.
That's like one of the Hall of Fame moments where that building that website was basically like everything up to that point of us working was to have a moment like that to prove that everything was worth it. You know? It was like our time to step up and hit a fucking grand slam. That was it. That 100%. Was the time to
I
show
needed
up.
you guys too.
Yeah.
It was the whole awesome. Figuring out thing. We talk about all the time.
Like,
but.
Yeah.
I think that was when Danny just started getting intermixed too. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you guys whining. Look, I don't know how to do this.
No. that was the moment where I knew that if we fucking blazed this, it was gonna push us into the next level.
Fuck yeah.
Like no matter what. Like that was our time. That was our time to shine.
So good that we should try to change it the day before Black Friday.
Oh yeah, but at that point we were like, "Fuck yeah, we can do it." It was the smartest thing, probably not.
No,
yeah, so brain aneurysm. Yeah.
But I mean,
so bad.
The deadline thing. This comes back to one of our first sort of making graphics, because what you told me was all creatives, you know, they take a lot of fucking time, they dilly dally, they overthink it.
It's one of my favorite words.
And in my mind, this is where the business comes first.
Facts.
Time is fucking money. I literally, if it takes me longer than 2 hours to make it, I'm probably not gonna. I'll probably choose to do it in a different way, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's where people maybe understand or don't understand that you're really business first and graphics second.
Yeah.
But that is your business, and that's how you got here. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
but people don't know that you probably look at it like that. I would say most creatives look at it
Most creatives look at the opposite, and that's whenever they find themselves, the deadline's coming up, they're not even fucking close, and they just sit there and it's like paralyzed by fucking analyzing shit, you know? They're just or whatever that saying is.
Yeah, no, that makes
analysis
sense.
by paralysis.
Yeah.
Paralysis by analysis.
No, yeah.
I'm
not sure. But it's like once you can kind of get onto that system of like handling it immediately or handling it even because you know it needs done, right? The flip time and knowing that urgency. Because when you deal with motherfuckers that are making shit happen, they want it now. They want it quality. Yeah. And there's okay, so could Trey take longer and put different cuts and more different music? And yeah, but does that need on the glog? Like, you know what I mean? Like the quality and the timing is all part of the key. Yeah. So it's like if we want to make a 30-minute glog, that's a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? So
now this is where quality over quantity comes into play. Because if it's a bigger project and like let's say we're working on a whole new revamp. Yeah. So me and Trey have been working on our project that we're super excited to work about. Yeah. We're coming up with all these crazy ideas and we're thinking long term, but there's a lot of shit that we need to do right now that needs to get done.
We had that conversation.
It needs to get done because it's super easy to find yourself, you first start and you have this huge project you want to get done. And the first thing you think about is all the things that need to get done. Yeah. And we find ourselves talking about some bunch of crazy shit that we want to eventually happen, but it's like, all right, what do we got to do first? Yeah. Like, we got to get this done first before we can even think about that.
Yeah, you can't sprint before you can crawl.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing is, but when you find yourself going there, that's good because that means you got a real vision, which is why I wanted to meet with you guys about it, right? But the execution of the small stuff is how you even get a chance at it. Of course. So understanding that you have to flip that back to get it done, but you have to play both. Yeah. I mean, that's really important.
Because a lot of the things that we're talking about making, these are all long-term things that, of course, will bring a huge amount of quality, and we want to make sure those are perfect. Yeah. But there's, you can't sit around and just, think about that all the time. You have to get stuff in motion.
That's I can work off of that. But what perfect is like a relative term, right? So I think because, I don't know if it exists. So I would say that's good and bad about me. I don't need it to be like 101%, but it's got to be like, in the 90s. And what's 100% to me, or let's say 93% to me, is probably 100% to someone else.
Yeah.
So
50%.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you're right, Trey. So maybe I've got the bar set, but I think I had to understand that because I see a flaw in this, or maybe the website no one else is seeing that. Now, if it's blatant, that's different. But I think where the analysis by paralysis comes in, they see it, so they think everyone else sees it. Mm-hmm. The reality is that's not how it works. They're not seeing it through your lens. So that's one thing that I had to – once I understood that, I was like, this is holding back my competition, which is why I'm going to win. Yeah. Because I'm not going to sit – like the other thing we're talking about doing over at Cherry Valley, like we're just going to fucking figure it out. Yeah. And then if it's a fucking shit show, we'll fix it.
I think what's important too is if something seems so insurmountable, it's just taking the first fucking step. It's probably not going to be the right step.
No,
that's just part of the game. But you're gonna pivot. You're gonna turn. I mean, you're gonna figure it out as you go, especially if it hasn't been blazed before.
That also though is where a lot of the confidence is built with all these other things that we do.
Exactly.
To know that you will figure it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I felt about myself for a long time. Yeah, I'm going to run into things just like we just did. I didn't know how that was going to feel. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, fuck it. Just do it and just figure it out and fucking that's what it is.
Well, it's just like you were 600 feet underground as a coal miner and you said everything else was fucking like
easy.
Seemed way more easy after. It was the same thing. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dude. I just think like, having the confidence to know you will figure it out is the leaping part.
Just
started. And having the understanding that it's a continuous work in progress.
Yeah.
There's always a V1, then it goes to V2.
Yeah.
You think V2 is really way better than V1, but then there's V3 and that fucking blows it out of the water. And just knowing that eventually over time things are going to figure themselves out, your skills will be better, maybe the environment changes and then you adapt, that's a huge part of it. And working here, that's always in my mind. It's like if I make something once, well, this is just, work in progress.
Yeah.
It'll get better.
And it's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
And I think that nothing's really final. It's always building upon, doing things. I think that understanding will help you continue to not be so critical of yourself.
And it keeps you hungry.
And it does keep you hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And interesting.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that I could put this out, meaning the audiobook, and people might not like it because of the way it sounds or whatever, right? But if I know I put it out and it was really my best shot, then I really can't. It's just what it is. Mm-hmm. So I'm okay with that. That's the other thing is I think I got to be better with that's kind of the thing. Like if I put out the most banger, what I thought get stacked program, and some people are like, this fucking sucks. I can't help that if that was if I really know I took my time. And so I think the other thing is usually when I'm in either smaller or bigger projects that's my best shot at it. And maybe somebody could do it better. Maybe they couldn't, but I'm okay with where it falls if I really believe that's a true statement.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing. I'm not going to be overcritical of it. So I would rather get in the process of doing something, uncover it while we're doing it, and then figure out if it could be great or not, and then give it a chance. I know you need some level of preparation, but I think people probably over prepare.
Isn't that why people like talk about like when they're in the process of building a company, that they fall in love with the process. Rick Ross, you know, shout out.
Rick Ross, what up, Rick?
Yeah, but like falling in love with the process, I guess, is like that's where it is. The money is not the end point or like the finish line. Like they'd much rather be in there, and then once they kind of lose that, then they're wanting to do something else probably.
Those talks that you're having right now with the excitement of the project and the possibilities is the sauce, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's
so
exciting.
And we're feeling it. And one thing is that we know that there's another thing that needs to get done. Like we know that there's another objective that we need to get done. So we're not going to spend a whole insurmountable amount of time overthinking about what we're doing. If we make one decision and it turns out not to work, all right, cool, we'll just change it and we'll change some other stuff.
But that's a confidence that you guys have grown into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I've seen obviously, and so that's what makes this all so exciting.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's always the next project. It's like, all right, what's next? It's the what's next mentality.
And and the other thing is when you start to think like this, and because you're always trying to get stuff done and get stuff rolling, it's not usually like you ask what next. It just keeps happening. Yep. Did you notice that?
Yep. It's things just pop up. Like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. Just look at that to-do list.
Yeah.
Yeah. The to-do list never catches up. There's always something.
So good. How there's obviously got to be people in your guys' lives, right, that have seen now the way that you're operating, which is a doer mentality, like Peters talks about, like always moving, whatever. Has anybody chirped at you guys, like slowing down, or how do you keep doing that, or like have you guys had any of those type of talks
in a negative way,
or just in general? I don't know if it's negative, like because I've had that over time where people would be like, gee, isn't like you're always moving, you're always shaking, like is like there's always you're always got a new version of this company, or that, like doesn't that ever get tiring, like stuff like that? Like I've got like I don't know if you guys have had any interactions like that or not.
Well, I mean, I've seen like some of my friends that I talk to from back home still. Like when I just went back home the other weekend for a wedding, and I saw one of my buddies that I went to high school with that has been like one of my best friends like literally since like kindergarten.
Oh yeah.
And so he goes to school at Ohio State, but every time I see him, we always catch up, and he's always asking like, "What's the new thing that I'm?"
He knows there's something new.
Yeah, that like whether or not I'm a part of or something. Yeah, something like that too. And so it's just always intriguing though. But I mean, then on the other side of that though, I have another buddy that listens to the podcast and everything, and whenever me and him are talking, he's always talking about you. He's like, man, Corey, like he's like Corey just never stops. He's like, his gear, true. Like he's always just going. And so like stuff like that always like comes up and everything.
Those are both pretty positive.
But they're they're in positive manners though. Yeah.
Danny, I would feel like you might have a family member that could be not immediate family, but no, you don't have like an aunt that was like, Danny, you're too crazy.
Well, no,
why is your arm so small?
The funny thing is like I don't think anybody in my family really even knows the extent at all. what I.
That's
what I
true.
do.
Yeah, tried to explain like, well,
no.
get this app. I mean, it
Well,
sounds like me.
Hey, they're gonna understand whenever someone meets you in public and goes, "Oh my God, that's small arms." That's small arms.
And they have his shirt on.
Are you not small?
Be the best day
Hey,
of my
what you
life.
need to you need to do is tell me where you need to take your family out to dinner. We're gonna plant somebody in a small shirt and have them walk by and be like,
It's
Danny
a plug.
Walter?
Yeah.
Can I get Can I get a picture for Twitter? Like, should I tag the small arms army?
Is the leader of the arms army? Can I get a pic?
I should give him a business card.
Oh.
And that's how it gets exposed.
Yes.
To the entire fam.
Viral.
Yep. That's
Well,
amazing.
Danny, I want you to live that out. That's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
and then you're like,
Let
your
me
mom's
know.
taking the picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, Mom, I'm sorry.
So it's funny because Linda's family knows more than my family. I feel like
It's because they were in the gym with you too.
yeah, that too,
probably
and they
unlocked it.
pay attention. They're like on social media. Like Linda's mom follows Small Arms Danny.
That's amazing.
It's true. Shout out Emily.
Shout out.
Yeah. So yeah,
This is real life.
They get it more. Yeah. So like I know they've listened to some of the Roundtable episodes and stuff
So good.
before, which is hilarious. So they probably get it more because I would say they're more technology savvy, I guess. But it was funny at I think it was Christmas. Linda's brother's girlfriend asked me. She like we had just walked in the door. It had not even been 10 minutes. And like I was there and I was working on my computer and she like works for the government. She was on her computer and we're sitting next to each other. And she's like, so what do you do?
I love that there's those mysterious questions. That amazes me.
Well,
what was your answer?
Well, because it came up in a conversation with her and Peter, Linda's brother.
Yeah.
And they had no idea. They didn't even know how to answer it. They just knew like there was something like fitness related. You do something with a website. I don't know. Something like that. I'm like, well,
my wife can't even explain it half the time.
I'm like the high level answer or title, whatever you want to call it, is like
editor.
Editor, senior editor. I'm like he kind of just changes the title every time. It seems like.
Yeah, we just made that up, but I mean.
Yeah, it was just completely made up. But I essentially run like two websites and like an app. Like that's a good way to explain. And if somebody really like wants to go deeper, then they'll say something else, which I'll gladly.
Well, I think I remember when I was trying to find a title for you. What it was like, we kind of run it like a magazine. Like that's how the magazines used to run. There was a guy that just kind of oversaw all the content that was being collected, right? So that's why I was like, it sounds kind of like a senior editor.
That's about right. Yeah. There you go. There's the explanation. Right
I
there.
love the awkward family conversations.
Yeah. It's.
I'm
funny.
all through those at this point, but yes, amazing.
Yeah. It's good. But
that makes me happy.
Yeah, at the wedding, someone asked me too that I saw from like that. Like I was around. They were like an adult when I was a kid and everything. They're just so like, what do you do now? And like, I see it on like social media a little bit, but I don't really get it.
Yeah.
But she did go down the rabbit hole a little bit. She like wanted to know more and more. So like we kind of went off on the like 5 different tangents and stuff. Like, oh yeah, there's this and this going on. And then she's like, oh my God, you should like make a portfolio. I was like,
hey, welcome to my day, baby.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah, it was good.
What was
a good conversation.
What was your answer, Trey?
I was just I always start off and I say like
everyone struggles when they start.
It is really hard.
It's a hard question. Yeah. So I always start off and I say, okay, the easiest way just to summarize it all is I just say like I'm just like a part of a few different businesses.
There you go.
That's like the easiest way to just like put it. Like, but yeah, I mean when I go like deeper down, then I just say like like media production, like Varsity Creative, obviously, and then.
They kind of get it, but still not.
Yeah. And then, and then it gets really confusing when you go into like, I like old clothes. Like I find it at a thrift store that I like to sell. Yeah,
I have to gauge it on.
That's amazing. I'm so confused by what both you guys do. Cole, your turn.
I have to gauge it on how I think the person. What they know, like what's their knowledge? Do they know absolutely zero? If they know absolutely zero, I kind of like just really going hard off the bat, saying I'm the graphic gangster. I like doing that. If they know about Max, but they don't understand the training, most of the time it's like, oh, so you work at the gym.
Yes,
and I'm like,
I've got to that.
And I'm like, no, that's just where I get arm pumps with Danny.
the gym is what everyone can understand, but no one can understand.
Yeah.
They're like, at the reception there?
Everyone always used to say, oh, so you're working at the gym? I'm like, well, no, I actually work for the supplements that's inside of the gym.
Passing out the towels?
Yeah. So, it was just.
So people, that's why I'm so glad we don't have members, because then I really confuse them now.
It's just.
So you moved your gym here. So is there a lot of members like, no, I got rid of all my members.
Yeah.
Oh. Like then they go, how's this guy making money?
I was actually talking to Michaela's older brother, and he was confused on like what the whole situation was. Obviously, he knows that there's multiple businesses.
Yeah.
I was like, well, think about this. We have a media company, Varsity Creative, that's inside of the supplement company, Max Effort. That's also inside of a gym. That there's also a training business inside of that gym.
Multiple training businesses.
So there's multiple businesses happening all inside of one business. I was like, basically every aspect of one business is a business.
And they work off of each other too, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's called fucking vertical integration, kid.
But
so put that in text.
I couldn't say it.
I've never gotten negative feedback because I think of like where I come from and people know how I am. Mm-hmm. They're like, fuck yeah. Like that's cool. Pretty fucking wild, but yeah, it's cool.
I never got a lot of negative feedback from at home at all, really. And I think it's because people respect that you like got away to try something that they don't even, really all the way know.
Yeah.
And that when my stuff got like more visible with social media, which yours is now, you know what I mean? But at first that wasn't that way because there was no social media. So like I remember when stuff started when stuff started hitting the UFC early, people was like really fucking with it. Yeah. Like my friends was like, fuck yeah. Like they were like, how did it get on there again? Like, you know what I mean? Like those were and I was answering those questions. And then when we had the first product at GNC, it was one product. It was on the bottom shelf. Oh, bro. It was assault. That was fucking, you done fucking made it, G. You know what I'm saying? Even though like it was in a D store that barely sold. But I think when people can see and touch it a little bit, that's better, but still matching up how it becomes revenue. Like, I like how you said you gauge it off what they think they know.
Yeah.
I had a dad came up to me one time and said, my son would like to build a stack. And I'm like, okay. And then he goes, that's not steroids, right? And I go, it's definitely not steroids. And then I go, and I look at the son, I go, do you know what you need? He's like, Mr. Gregory, I know what I need. And I'm like, all right. And then he's like, well, do I get it? I'm like, it's not like out of my trunk. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could tell he really didn't mean any disrespect by it, but he just didn't know. And so, because he is like unaware of the space. And since then, they've figured it out. But it's one of those things like I try to evaluate, like, like, that's why my older neighbors, I told them I'd sell vitamins.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I just was like trying to make them
hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you do again? I mean, I got like a dermatologist and I got like some big trucking company. And like, I'm like, yeah, I just sell vitamins. So good. But I will tell you, the people that, I do like that are acquaintances that have been by here, it is much easier to explain in person.
For sure. Whenever they can actually see and understand how it all flows.
Because all of this was never in the same place.
Yeah.
All three of these businesses were fragmented, basically. So when somebody can walk through, and I can step them through that, the first building you walk through is why everything's here. If there's no old school, there's no Max Effort, there's no Corey G Fitness, there's no fucking podcast. It all started there.
Yeah.
And then you can get the vibe of how serious it is, right? Then you can walk in here and see, ooh, these guys have some branding skills. There's a fucking. And then the other thing is like, how do you know what to put in the bottle? That's what I like that question too. That's a different podcast. Yeah. But so it's like, and then when you can come back here and they can see how official this setup is, and I explain the vision between the backdrops and the way, then you start to see how intentional it is, and you realize that it's not just a gym. And so I think like that's actually helped me a ton. For people, like, I don't really need respect of it or a pat on the back, but then like they definitely view it different. I think when you can see all the pallets in the warehouse, that makes a difference too. So that's actually been good for me, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of people like I talk to, they've never been exposed to an environment like this. Like I was thinking like if I was in high school and I came from where I never had this opportunity, I would have no idea what actually happened.
That's true.
Yeah.
No idea. So
yeah, that's true. So it's hard. So it's hard to like grasp anyway.
Yeah.
It actually was helpful too, like when my parents stopped out here.
Yeah.
I actually could walk them through and like, oh yeah, this is how shit fucking works.
Well, yeah. So I'm thinking about Danny's situation because it was like more traditional out the gate. Well, and I guess yours was too, but we're kind of from the same area, so I can identify a little bit more. But like when Danny's leaving Nationwide to go work remote on an app, even though we did work together in the past, this is a very unproven business.
They
like
met you maybe once. In person.
Yeah, and I'm saying maybe one time, and even when you got fired from the old job, it wasn't like a great situation. Like to like be able to articulate that to his parents probably wasn't the easiest thing.
Yeah, for sure. Especially
just turning it back for you a little, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, especially when everyone's either like a freaking doctor, nurse, or teacher. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's tough.
Jobs. Yeah.
And then I always think like. But then what's the definition of stable, right? So that's where a lot of people don't understand that the way that I view stability and the way most people view stability is completely different. I view stability that I can create it. So if it's on me, I feel like I can control it more. And it's on our team. We can predict the outcome that if we want to go right out there today and make $10,000 in sales, I'm pretty sure we can come up with a way to fucking do it. You don't get to do that at your other job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to me, that seems more stable once it's set up. Mm-hmm. But that uncomfortable nature to get there, I know it's not for everybody, and it's tough.
And that perspective on it is what I latched onto.
Yeah.
I
think I remember us talking about that.
Yeah, because it never had been explained to me that way. It was always like, you know, the 4-year degree, you become like an accountant or something, which was what my fucking plan was.
Small arms accounting.
It sounds catchy.
Yeah. I mean, you could go with that.
Yeah, we'll see. No.
But I was telling Danny, I was like, somebody can walk in your cubicle in Nationwide and tell you to go fuck yourself. Yeah. Just the same as we could not have enough business. It doesn't. It's no different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the day that we were on the phone, like you didn't even call me with the intention of me like quitting that day. I remember it, and then we were just like mid conversation, and then you were just like, all right, well, let's just do it. Let's fucking do it now. And I coincidentally had a manager meeting that day, and I told him that day, I'm out. Yeah, it was.
You can keep your khakis.
Yeah. Well, it was so clear to me, and then like putting like the little bit of pressure that I needed on myself to produce or perform. Like I'm like, it's completely on me if I fuck this up.
Yeah.
So like, and I was fine with that.
But once again, it goes right into the not sitting on your hands, tying it back, getting shit done. And Danny did a really good job early saying, hey, but what about this? Hey, but what about this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Staying busy to actively make the business, which you guys have all done too. So like, I think that's what's amazing for a guy that's in a position like me is when you get young killers that are also not, and it's an Andrew Carnegie thing, Napoleon Hill. Don't just do what you're told. You know what I mean? Do that plus what you know needs done.
Yeah.
So there's what did he say in the book is like multiple ways not to be successful. Don't do enough and do only what you're told.
Yeah.
You do those two things, you're fucked.
Yeah. And I had I had a front row seat to that.
Yeah.
Every single day. It was like, it was showing me exactly how I didn't want to live my life every day.
Just like we read in the first chapter of the book.
Exactly.
I think that helped me a ton.
Yeah. So I'm actually, grateful
that was a great experience for you.
For the Swan Tower. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That was good.
I think one big thing is like the mindset, which I became really more comfortable with this, is like being good with people can't understand and won't understand that heat you feel. But the first time you get something where you can prove it, like you're proving it's working, you're proving everything's done it. Like you were talking about how like Rachel's parents, like they kind of understand now because you've proven it so many times. Yeah. Getting some wins underneath your belt, and it's like
massive
shit's happening, and other people see it, they're like, all right, like
they just start to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it still sounds crazy, and I still get those looks.
Yeah,
but they are like,
it's probably going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know how. But
so
good.
I see both looks. I see Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he'll probably figure a way.
Yeah. So like I've enjoyed that part, and that's like a personal thing, I guess. And I mean, I'm not. It's like you feel like I didn't really feel like I did feel like I had to prove something a little bit because I wanted to get that kind of level of trust that I got it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's no pay stub. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that's people that are on that side only want security for their kid. And I get that as a dad, right? Because, like, dude, when Madeline's 18, if she brings home a fucking wannabe model personal trainer and a wife beater, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm going to go, huh?
Deja vu.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, but I really.
Do you really though?
Shit.
Until that
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I really, yeah, dude, it was a
Let's
shit
pull
show.
that fucking
Oh
clip.
yeah, yeah. I wish I had that on tape. God, but I really think like I wanted to work towards getting that level of trust that, you know, if your obviously relationship continues like that they know you're going to provide. It doesn't even, they don't care how it gets there, and it's going to look like Donnie Traps, but it's going to happen, whatever.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Some of the best stuff is whenever I show like Michaela's parents or even like my family Donnie Traps video. I'm like, yeah, we sold product because of that.
Yeah.
like that was a part of the work day. Like that was for work. It's it's always fun.
But I think as we've transitioned this conversation, which I love where it went, the mentality is what allowed all this to happen. Because if you do mess something up, you find it kind of fast. You can find a solution to it so it works faster. And so like when you're in that kind of push, that's what allows for all of these things to happen and happen relatively fast. I mean, we got to think the block of time that I've obviously known Danny the longest, but like the amount of stuff that's been, you know, as you guys individually have come into the organization and the transition of me from MP to all this new stuff really hasn't been that long, guys.
Yeah.
That's something I've been kind
It
of.
really hasn't been. Now it feels like it has because the amount and the progress has been extremely, like, for everybody, including myself, has been a lot. And I'm like super proud of it. It's like honestly what most people don't get in a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking fact.
Yeah. This is coming up on 5 years.
Yeah.
Of like me being around the gym. Like this February, I think is 5 years of
Yeah.
being in the gym, and that's only 3 years of me making shit.
That's kind of my
You
point.
know?
The block of time that you started the graphic gangsterness has been a 3-year period.
Yeah, it's really wild, but I think that's whenever it comes back to the compound effect and getting 1% better each day, because that growth it compounds fast.
Yeah.
Super fast.
It's
if you
the
look,
momentum
You can look at the
pull.
chart; it's super slow, then it just spikes.
That's
You know,
Well, and the momentum comes from when you're confidently putting stuff together and
Yep.
you're just cranking it, bro.
yeah,
And then it just keeps catching and people keep knowing about it. And that's why I'm addicted to that part when it feels like that. I get up feeling, psychotically yoked.
fuck yeah, it's coming.
Yeah,
I'm already
just
feeling it. Already feeling it.
Lunges are feeling good. Like, it's just like you can feel, and then I can feel the momentum in the rest of my life too. That's why I'm so like focused. Oh, I got a story to tell you guys real quick. It just came out. I told Cole this morning. I'll leave some of it vague because I can't tell all the details yet. I got a message on Instagram like a couple days ago from an account that's pretty good sized. And he said, yo, I got a story for you. It's worth your time. I've had some like major shit happen in my career, and a lot of it's because of you. And I was like, all right, sick. So I did a little research. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll take the call, right? So I hit him up last night, and he's like, look, man, he lost 120 pounds, been lunging for 4 fucking years, listens to the show, like fucks with us heavy, like daily fires, the audiobooks, loves Napoleon. He basically verbatim is doing what we're saying to do. Talked about the endomorphic state, how fresh he feels when he's listening to this stuff. Goes from like 400 pounds to like 270. He's real tall like Jake. And he's like he's in Hollywood. But he's made the transition from being behind the scenes to being in front of the scenes.
Okay.
And the latest thing that he's got going, which he couldn't tell me like the super details, but it's like a major production, multiple movies, like big.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so he's like, and I don't know this, I'm just believing what he's saying, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it's on top of it. And the nature of how he spoke about the lifestyle was fucking awesome because he 1,000,000% gets it. In the results mentally and then in his career and the way he's even, what he explained was the way he even deals with people. Remember I always talk about taking a negative to a positive, like in customer service or whatever it is, that's like a challenge. He's been dealing with everybody in his life that way. And he's like, bro, he's like, I think he caught it on one of the episodes. He's like, it just twisted the whole thing the opposite direction because it's not how most people I think act in that business. And he was like, dude, hitting on all of these points that we're talking about. And his career is like about to fucking explode.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I was just like, yo, bro, like, first off, this is amazing, you know, in the period of time you did it for. And second off, like when you're fucking a superstar, can you come on the podcast? So we look really cool. And he was like, yeah, of course. But it was, I just think, like, when I hear impact like that, you know, it's really, it tells me multiple things. We should keep doing what we're doing. We know where it's going. We're going to keep continuing to get it done, figure it out. And I think that the power of when people really dial into this entire lifestyle and understanding it's unique. They're not hearing this other places. So it just was to get validation at what level he's like entering in is fucking sick.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
Yesterday when I did that podcast with Cole, and he kind of got me like speaking about what's like the driving force, like what's it really all about. Yeah. And I think like making an impact for like all these people, like that's really where the sauce is at. If you're trying to make an impact on someone so they can make an impact on someone else.
What's one of your favorite things to do, Cole, in the week? Probably what you're doing right now.
Podcasting, yeah, 100%. Like it's like, because again, this is like, you never know who's watching, you never know who's paying attention, and like, you know, we're like really feeling this because we've felt it. Like we want other people to feel. I want like my friends to feel. I want my mom to feel it.
Yep.
I want those people to feel kind of how like we're feeling. So, yeah. And especially with the I Want Abs, like we're laying it out, man. We're really trying to get someone fully fucking bought in, because just like that guy's story, if you fully get it, yeah, you can exactly feel.
He also said he loved the video of how not to get abs.
Yes. So yeah.
I've had some good feedback.
Yeah, no, he watched that. That was probably so. Rachel this morning mentions that. Rachel don't really watch my videos. She's like over me, but she's like, watch that video. She's like, you talking about me? I go, no. She's like, and then I go, how not to get abs? She's like, then she's like over it again. It's funny. So anything else you guys want to add? That's a pretty good episode. Yeah, just kind of riffed all over the place, but I think it was really valuable.
For sure.
So, all right. Brought to you by MaxEffortMuscle.com. Go over to the website, sign up for the I Want Abs contest, win you a Benz, win you a Rolly. Look, you don't bring heat. I ain't giving you that Rolly. I'm taking it back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm giving the Rolly. And then, 10K Impact Protocol. I'm your boy, Corey G. That's at Small Arms Danny, actually, on Twitter now. Yeah. At Trey Speed. But at Trey Dier, the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak, we are out.